That's a wide body beat.
Panther Nation, what's good? Welcome back to Carolina's Armchair GM. I am your host, CJ. Okay, I apologize for the delay. I hope y'all can hear me all right. But when life throws you a curveball, that old saying, yeah. So, my audio threw me a curveball about 2 minutes before I was supposed to go live. So that was what the delay was for. I apologize. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me okay out there in the chat. I appreciate everybody. Okay, cool. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. Coming to you tonight. Again, like I always say, quick live. Um, so we've had a week a little over a week of the Carolina Panthers going through free agency. All right. Started out with a bang the first day, and we were signing people so much so that a lot of people saying they couldn't keep up with them. All right. But since then, not too much. All right, not too much. We signed David Moore yesterday, so David Moore is back. We got and this is everybody since the first day of free agency. We got the linebacker from the Rams, Christian Roseboom, and I'm trying to think of who else. We got the punter Sam Martin. So the first day was, real crazy. Everybody going through everything. Again, like I said on the last live, Panther Nation on Twitter was not happy whatsoever. With the majority of them, everybody, not everybody was, losing they mind last Monday, but the majority of Panther Nation was okay. But what I wanted to do tonight is put together kind of a post free agency roster. And I know we're still in free agency technically. Okay, so we can still sign players and all that good stuff. But since everything is kind of died down right now, I wanted to get, just a roster and not the entire roster. I just got the starters and their backups on here, and we'll get into that here in a second. But first, let me go through, and this was me telling everybody, give me 1 second, probably about 10 minutes ago. Steven said, okay. um, and Steven also said, get Tony off the nah, hey, I talked to Tony earlier today. He doing good. That's this, yes, dear. Thank you. That's my wife, everybody. Some TikTok. I know I was late. What's going on, Will? How you doing, man? Said, got you locked in. Steven said, can hear you good, bro. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, and before we get started and get the business out the way as usual, all right. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Okay, make sure on your way in and or on your way out. If you leave early, please hit that like and subscribe button. You can catch me on all social media at Armchair GMCJ. All social media at Armchair GMCJ. And also my Cash App is the same thing at Armchair GMCJ. If you want to make a donation to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it and will help get things rolling. I'm still on my way to my first goal of 500 subscribers. So please share the live. Let everybody know that hopefully what will be their favorite armchair GM is here. All right. Now let's get into it. But before we get into the roster, it wouldn't be me. It would not be me if I didn't do a cap update real quick. Okay. Now, as you can see, everybody has been accounted for except for David Moore. David Moore is the only person that I could not find on Over the Cap and on Spot Track. Over the Cap doesn't have him on here at all. Spot Track has him on there, but at the bottom it just says it's zeros all the way across his line on the stat sheet. Okay. Now, if you see here, our cap space is down to 17.7 million. All right. And like I said, that is everybody but David Moore added into the equation. Now, I was telling everybody a while ago that Shy Tuttle took a pay cut, and which he did. Now, his salary for this year, I think it was somewhere up like almost $9 million or a little over $9 million. His cap number. Now that is down to 5.7 million. And I think it hit yesterday or the day before because earlier in the week we were at 21, and then I think I think it was yesterday it shot up to the 24. And the only people that were left were Morig and let me see, Trayvon Morig, and I forgot the other one. So it was just those two people left. Now that was before we signed David Moore. But as of right now, the Panthers have 17.6 million dollars. And hold on, I wonder, wait a minute, I wonder, because that was 17.7 a second ago. Let me see. I wonder if okay, nah, David Moore is not on here just yet. Okay. Maybe I'm tripping. I could swear that said 17.7 a minute ago. But hey, I digress. But 17.6, we're at $17.6 million. And I just want to let everybody know, for all the people, that were, especially on Twitter, that were screaming, oh, it's gonna be all right. Next year, we got $150 million in cap space. Let me tell you, that is not the case. Cap space for 2026 is already down to $56 million. Okay. And that is with 31 people on the roster. So there's a lot of money being dealt next season. Okay. Now, how they decide to play that, I'm sure that they got to, well, hopefully, they may not have a plan for that already. But I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about, oh, don't worry about it, next year. We got $150 million. We good. Yeah, that's down now. It's not that much. But we are in good shape right now. Cap over the cap has us needing about $12 million to sign all our draft picks, depending, because they got the salaries already made up for whatever draft spot they're picked at. Now, mind you, that 12 million may be a little less than that, because I highly doubt that the Panthers will end up with 9 picks. Okay. I'd be thrilled, if we ended up with seven. Okay. I'm sure they're going to do some trading and some moving around. So, like I said, I don't think we're going to end up with 9 picks, and that cap hit of $12 million may go down a little bit, depending on what pick it is, what round. If we trade a couple fifth round picks to jump up and get, a second round pick, it may equal out, because of course, second round pick is going to get paid more of a salary than your two fifth round picks. It might end up canceling each other out. So, never know. It might go up, might go down, might stay the same. All right. Mr. Hunky Dory, what's going on? Man, let me tell you. Yes, I have turned into a cap junkie. I sure have. I sure have. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do, I check my work phone, see if I got any messages, and I check over the cap to see if the Panthers cap space has updated. Yes, you absolutely right. Absolutely right. Earl, what's going on with you? How you doing, sir? Let me see. Do we keep the 17 mil for emergency signing or post June 1st cuts? Well, a good chunk of that's gonna go to the draft picks, and then I guess they'll work from there. I'm going to assume that anybody they bring in is not going to be on a huge contract. Um, just say, like, right now we still have to see what they're gonna pay David Moore. I think he signed another 1 year deal. So that's gonna go down, by at least the league minimum. I think it's like a million something million. Hold on, what's the league minimum? Um, was it a million, 1.1 million? I think is the league minimum. So it's gonna at least go down by that. Okay. Um, yeah. And then we're gonna have to have what's left for the draft pick. All right. QJ, what's going on? QJ said, "What's up, CJ? Dan Morgan needs to get my guy Tic Tac Nine some weapons. He need legit wide receiver one." And you know what? And I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not going to disagree with that. But I don't think it's going to be the wide receiver one that everybody wants, and that's just my opinion. It's not going to be the wide receiver one that everybody wants. Um, but I'm at a spot now where, you know what? And I've been saying defense, defense, defense at number 8. At this point, if they draft defense, great. If they decide to get Ted McMillan from Arizona, you know what? I'm not going to dislike the pick. I'm gonna say come on in, and hopefully he can pan out. But yeah, honestly, I think that number 8 pick is just up in the air. I think at one point we were like, yeah, it's definitely gonna be defense. Now, don't think I can say that. But yeah, but they said they've already said that that's an emphasis for them to bring in some more weapons for Bryce Young, but we don't know exactly what their thought process and their approach to doing that is going to be. And I guarantee you, I would bet anybody here $20 that it's not going to be what Panther Nation wants it to be. But And that's the way it is because hey, I'm sitting here in my chair. I'm the armchair GM. I'm not a real one. So FPFO Dylan, what's going on? He said you want to do the mock draft tournament this year. Uh yeah. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, just hit me up on X. And is Tony still doing YouTube? He's still getting his channel together in the works, but hit him up. Yeah, I'm sure he. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm sure, but I'm pretty sure he'll join. But yeah, hit Tony up as well. Yep. Let me see. Diggs, Ayuk, or Tet. To be honest with you, right now, out of the three of those, give me Brandon Ayuk. Give me Brandon Ayuk. Yeah. Now, mind you, his contract is team friendly for this year. But after that, that man gets a serious, and I mean a serious pay hike. I think his contract next year, you know what? Let me just go ahead and look it up real quick. See, I know I'm spelling this wrong, but you got it. There you go. And I'm spelling it wrong. Damn. Okay. This year, let me see. I'm sorry, 2025, 10 million. 2026, 16 million. So that's not bad. But 27 and 28, 42, 44 million dollars. But but the thing is though, there's no guaranteed money in 26, 27, and 28. I don't know what the Panthers would have to give up to get him, or if he would even be willing to redo this contract or whatever. But yeah, if I had my choice, I'd go with Ayuk right now. And still, like I've been saying, heavy on defense in the draft. Steven says Graham, Warren, Ted, Walker, or Johnson if they're all available. A couple weeks ago, I would have been like Mason Graham all day long. Tyler Warren, no, I'm sorry, I'm not drafting. If it was me, I'm not drafting Tyler Warren. Um, Let me see, Ted, Walker, or Johnson. Goodness. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. I would love if you would have put like Malachi Starks in there something too, because honestly, we need a dog at safety, we need a dog at corner, and we need somebody at edge too. So it's like I said, it's a crapshoot. But let me see, Ted Walker or Johnson. You know what? At number 8, if I had to choose between though, like I said, Graham, probably not now. Warren, no. Give me Walker. Give me Walker at number 8. And Johnson would probably be in a close second. Okay. Like I said, because I still think we need help on all 3 levels of defense. All right. Off the screen. Okay. Now let's hold on. I see you got one more comment, Steve. Hold on a second. Let it pop up. I think Starks need a specific scheme right now being raw. Good point. Good point. Good point. Well, hopefully this is the new Carolina Panthers that can come in here and start developing some players. Never know, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Starks, I got you. I got you. All right. So let's get to the slides here. Okay, so now, like I said, this is the Panthers post free agency roster, and I understand that free agency is currently going on right now. All right, but after this first week of the goings on of free agency, everything has kind of died down. Really, David Moore has been the only thing that's happened as far as the Panthers in the last couple days. All right, but now this is no surprise. At quarterback, you have Bryce Young and Andy Dalton. Okay, have not have probably 3/4 of the fan base still can't stand Bryce Young. They would love to see Andy Dalton come in and be the starter, or anybody but Bryce Young. But it's gonna be a quick slide. That's neither here nor there. Bryce is QB1, Andy Dalton is QB2. Okay. Now we move on to the offensive line. And what I do applaud Dan Morgan and Dave Canales and Brant Tillis and them, they said they wanted to keep continuity on the offensive line. They didn't want a big shakeup going from the success that the offensive line had from this past season into, a big shakeup going into the new season. So they really, I mean, literally brought everybody back. The only person that wasn't on this, let me see, that wasn't on the opening game roster was You know what? And my apologies, everybody. I got Andrew Ram's name right there. That's Cade Mays. So I messed up on my slide. That's Cade Mays. But he was the only one. He got cut. He ended up on the Giants practice squad, and we signed Cade Mays off the Giants practice squad when when Austin Corbett got hurt, and then Icky got hurt for one game. So I think oh goodness, no, it was. I'm sorry, it was Damian Lewis. Damian Lewis got hurt one game, so Brady Christensen moved to guard, and they brought in Cade Mays at center. All right, but they brought back Austin Corbett, and I'm going to assume that Austin Corbett is going to be the starting center. And that's like I said, that's just an assumption. I don't know. All right. We'll see. I don't know if there's going to be, a battle for center. It really wasn't much of one last year. They said Corbett was going to be the center and he was the center. He's coming off of a can't remember, it was I think it's bicep injury. And they said that those, easy to come back from, and I hope that's the case with Corbett. And I hope he comes back and he's healthy and ready to go. Because, like I've said plenty of times, I thought Austin Corbett did a damn good job playing center last year. Me and Tony were very, very skeptical. Very skeptical. We were hollering and screaming at the Panthers, draft the center, draft the center. And the draft kept going on. We were like, what in God's name are y'all doing? There's center after center after center coming off this board, and y'all not taking one. And then we ended up with Andrew Ram as an undrafted free agent. But, hey, again, they had a plan. Corbett went down, in steps Brady Christensen. Lewis went down. Christensen moves over to guard. They pull K Mays from the Giants practice squad. And as like they say, the rest is history. Okay. So for backups, starters, Damian Lewis, Austin Corbett, Robert Hunt, you got Ike Ekwonu and Taylor Moton. And as we all know, Taylor Moton is, for right now, playing out this year with that $31 million cap hit against the Panthers cap. And they have came out and said that they are okay if they play this season, paying Taylor Moton that $31 million. And I don't think that's to say that they would be opposed to trying to rework that contract with him if the need came up. But they are, consistent with not wanting to continue that kicking the can down the road philosophy, because Taylor Moton's contract has been restructured at least 3 or 4 times. All right. But that is our offensive line. So for backups, we got Christensen, Chandler Zavala, and again, I'm sorry, y'all, that's Cade Mays, not Andrew Ram, Jared Kingston, and Yash Nyman. Yash Nyman also restructured his contract, is not restructured. He agreed to a revised contract with a pay cut, basically, like Shy Tuttle. And that saved the Panthers an extra a million and some change towards the cap. Okay. So another situation like Shy Tuttle. That was actually, a pay cut. All right. So that is our offensive line, starters and backups as of right now. And again, that's not Andrew Ram in the middle. That's Cade Mays. I just forgot to update the name. Okay. Wide receivers. Okay. We have Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, David Moore. David Moore was signed back yesterday. I saw a lot of I saw a lot of people, not happy with this on Twitter yesterday as well. But I think this is one of my guys who I figured that was almost a lock to come back. Okay. David Moore did have the dropsies from time a couple times this past season. But I think he was solid. He knows the offense. And, yes, we want to get Bryce some more weapons, but you bring back somebody that's comfortable with the offense. Bryce is comfortable with him. I don't mind this at all. Okay. Now, I think one way or the other, the Panthers are going to do something about wide receiver, but it's going to be in the draft. All right. I think well, let me not say that, because I don't think the wide receiver ship has sailed just yet in free agency, because there's still some names that we could, bring back, like an Amari Cooper or somebody like that. But, if their goal is to get younger, because all of the free agent signings that we brought in so far are people coming off of their rookie contracts. They're all around 25, 26 years old. I think the oldest one might be Christian Roseboom, if I'm not mistaken. So let me get to a couple comments here. Will said, a very loud 20% of this fan base dislike Bryce. This 20% didn't like Cam. I got you. I got you. Kitty Lit Zero podcast, what's going on? I'm sorry, Kitty Lit Zero, a Carolina Panthers podcast. So yo, dropping in to say glad this is your topic. We'll listen and like I'll keep pounding. Hey, appreciate you for stopping through, man. Appreciate you. Um, but yeah, but and I'm going to say this, and I've said this again. I don't think this is a terrible wide receiver room. And I know everybody's probably gonna give me for saying this. I don't think this is a terrible wide receiver room. They will add to it. I'm just not totally convinced that they're going to go out and get that, dominating number one wide receiver in this draft. I'm sure they're going to add to it. Sure, they're going to add to it. But like I said, at number 8, I think a lot of the fan base may, or may not, get their feelings hurt if we don't draft Ted McMillan at number 8. So we'll see. But Thielen, Leggett, Coker, and more. We do have what's a man named Dan Chisnia, and a couple other receivers on the squad as well. But like I said, whether they add another free agent that still may be out there, maybe like an Amari Cooper or something, we'll see. You know, and for those of y'all that missed it, the Panthers salary cap has updated some, and they are sitting at $17.6 million, and that is without the addition of David Moore, as you see on the screen right here. They just agreed to terms with him yesterday. Okay, so everybody else, Morig, Pat Jones, all of the free agent signings from last week, they're all on the salary cap now. So the Panthers are sitting at $17.6 million. Okay, but these are the receivers, and like I said, I brought up starters and backups, but receiver, if we don't get a Ted McMillan or something, we're probably going to go into the next year. Thielen going to be in the slot, Leggett's going to be your X, and you're going to have Coker and more. All right. Like I said, I do believe it's going to be some more additions to this room. I just don't know who. Just don't know who. And I'm not one of those ones that are, hell bent on drafting Ted McMillan at 8. I'm not gonna be mad at it, but me, you know, I think we have way more holes on this defense than we do on offense. Now, like I said, it's just my opinion. All right. Let me see. QJ said, I hope it's Bobby Brown's prerogative to stop the run. Hey, who you telling? Who you telling? I hope that's his only prerogative. Yes, I agree with you on that one. All right. Marcos Cash, what's going on? He said, "What's up? See, it's been a while." Yeah, man, I'm still here, man. I'm still here. I'm trying to lock my schedule down. Just life being life. Kids, events and stuff going on. Shit, me trying to get out here and get this damn yard right. But yeah, man, I'm trying to lock in the schedule. I'm trying to do Wednesdays and Saturdays. Weather pending and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here. Appreciate you joining. Antonio, what's going on? How you doing? Marco said, "What's up, Panther Nation?" And as Antonio would say, like, subscribe, comment, and share the stream, please. I greatly appreciate it. All right. He's duh. So are you live? Cool. Okay. All right. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Doug. Thank you for stopping through, dog. Let me see. Antonio said, Panther Pride, keep pounding. Yes, 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 yes. All right. Now let's go ahead and move on from the wide receivers. And now we have our running back. Okay. And I'm sorry, we also picked up Rico Dowdle. Okay, and Rico Dowdle was signed last week in the first like 10 minutes while I was live. I didn't even know, and everybody was typing in the chat, and I'm trying to scroll on Twitter, like, hold on, I don't see that nowhere, but we actually did pick him up. Um, Running back was um, another position that a lot of people thought that Panthers were probably going to take higher in the draft. I kept seeing people saying take Cam Scatterboo in the second round, the running back from Arizona. I think with the addition of Dowdle, they may get another running back, but it'll probably be further down in the draft. I like this combination of Hubbard and Dowdle. Now Dowdle was 1,000-yard back that played with Dallas last season. Came in here and ate our Carolina Panthers defense for breakfast. I think he had like 100 and something yards. I think maybe like 150. It was probably his highest yardage of the season in a single game against us, which usually happened when teams played us. But I like Rico Dow. I like what he brings. He got good hands out of the back. He can catch the ball. He's very shifty. I like his lateral movement. He sees a hole, he's gone. Okay. So I do think this can be a good running back duo that we have here. Now, a 1 year contract. Again, a lot of 1 year contracts. I don't know if this is hey, we're gonna sign you for a year. We're gonna see, what Jonathan Brooks is going to do when he gets healthy, because he did tear his ACL again last season. So he's pretty much gonna be gone for the all of this season coming up. Now I don't know now if he comes in and has a and I'll throw this out there and y'all tell me if I'm crazy or not, but just imagine another 1,000 pair duo like we had with D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. Just think that might be possible this year. I would love for it to happen. Love for it to happen. Okay. But like I said, I'm just throwing that out there. Not saying that it's going to happen, but I would love for it to happen. But I do like this duo. I like this duo of Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. All right. Let me see. Solar Biscuit said Dow is a big sign. Yes, yes, yes. And I think he won 1 year deal, 3 million. I think it's worth up to 6 million if I'm not mistaken. Um, and you know what? And also I'm thinking about it. Shout out to Brant Tillis for these contracts that he's doing. Very team friendly first years of these contracts, making sure they get these guys paid down the line. And in a situation where we didn't think the Panthers were going to have a whole lot of money, to bring in people, they're bringing in people. But yeah, so shout out to the Brant Tillers because from what we started with, yeah, I would tell you that they cooking right now. They are cooking as far as bringing in players and having the money to sign 'em. All right, Steve says, I don't know why, but I feel like Ted McMillan could be injury prone in the league. His frame just looks like he will not take a lot of hits to his thighs, and that boy ain't got a lot of meat on his bones. Well, I mean, you never know. You never know. Um, I heard a lot of stuff about that, like with Bryce. You know, Bryce is what 5'10", and I mean but he tough dude. I mean, he's taking a lot of hits, a lot of hits. But you never know until you get to the league. You never know. But if we do draft him, I hope this is not the case. All right, but Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle, running back one, running back two. All right. Okay, tight ends, and as of right now, except for maybe Jordan Matthews is one of those future reserve contracts. This is our tight end room: Tommy Tremble and Jatavion Sanders. Tommy Tremble just recently re-signed with the Panthers. Tavion Sanders is coming off of what I think was a pretty decent rookie year. Sidelined a little bit when he landed on his head. I think he caught a concussion or something from that. And I got his picture up here because you know, I do think, eventually, you're probably going to see a switch from Trimble to Sanders as far as tight end one and tight end two. I do think Sanders has that potential. Would love to see him refine his run blocking game a little bit, but I think he has it all there. I think he put most of it together last year, but it's just opportunities and getting him the ball. Okay. But I do like our tight end room. I do think they're going to add to it. I think everybody can and I hate to say this, but I'm just gonna say it because again, great person. Met him at training camp, signed my roster sheet that I had, but I think a lot of Panther Nation is okay with Ian Thomas not being back. A lot of us couldn't figure out how he kept coming back anyway. But you know, there are quite a few good tight end prospects in this draft. If the Panthers decide to go that way, we'll see. We'll see. All right. So there's our tight ends, Tommy Tremble and Jatavian Sanders. Okay. And as you saw on the thumbnail, I had two of these guys kind of blacked out where LeBron Ray and Shy Tuttle are. And this is the defensive line. Okay, so as you all know, the Panthers brought in Bobby Brown III and Tershawn Wharton. Okay. And I was sitting there thinking, and I was talking to Tony earlier while I was at work. And me and him said the same thing. We kind of laughed, and I was like, yeah, I thought about this and I was like, yeah, they ain't pay Wharton, 50 something or 40 something $1 million for him to come in and not be the starter. So you may see Ashawn Robinson go down a notch on this depth chart. Now, mind you, not saying that he won't get no playing time, as I do think that the Panthers now have the ability to have a lot more of situational rotations as far as down and distance and what they see the offense doing. But now one thing I would say, Wharton is more so known for his ability to get, to the quarterback. Not so much known for his run stopping ability. I hope they can work on that and figure that out with him. But, and I was talking to Tony and he was like, and I was like, but dang, I said, Shy Tuttle still here and they still got him at nose tackle. And he was like, well, nah, you said, remember the guy we signed, from Coastal Carolina? And I looked at it and it was Gerard Clark. And I forgot that we had signed Gerard Clark. And Gerard Clark is 6'4", 334 pounds, 33 and three-quarter inch arms, and he is an undrafted free agent out of Coastal Carolina. He was on the Lions roster for the sorry, was it Lions or the Chargers? I think it was the Chargers for the past 2 years. And the Panthers signed him to a reserve future deal this offseason. So that's why I added him down there on the bottom, because to me, that was kind of interesting. And I'm like, if he can pan out, okay, and maybe, just maybe, make the roster and back up Bobby Brown the third, maybe we can get Shy Tuttle out of that nose tackle spot altogether. Now I'm sure they'll probably throw him in there every now and then, or whatnot, but not as like our backup nose tackle like all season. Maybe Shy Tuttle gets moved over to a three or something. Maybe they slide him over in LeBron Ray spot or something like that. Because I've always said I didn't think Shy Tuttle was a bad player. I just thought he was in the wrong system. He is not a nose tackle. Okay, not a nose tackle at all, and it showed glaringly last season. Okay, but so Gerard Clark, might be a let me see, might be an option. Now, did I say yeah, Gerard Clark? My bad, Gerard Clark. He might be an option this upcoming season. So, and I ain't gonna lie, I completely forgot. I completely forgot because I heard of him and I saw when we signed him. I looked him up, but completely forgot about him. Okay, but like let me see who said it. I think it was QJ. Yes. Again, yes, I do hope there is Bobby Brown's prerogative to stop the run. Exactly. Yes. So we'll see. And I'm going to circle back to the defensive line because I do have a question I want to ask everybody about the defensive line and the new signings that we have. Okay. But yeah, Derek Brown, Bobby Brown the third, Tershawn Wharton, more than likely going to be your starting defensive lineman. Okay. Defensive ends and nose tackle, backed up by LeBron Ray, Shy Tuttle, and Ashawn Robinson. And like I said, maybe, just maybe, there's a spot for Gerard Clarkin. We won't know until training camp, preseason, and we'll find out. But I think that was interesting. Shout out to my big cousin for bringing that up because I completely forgot about that dude. All right. Now let's move into our outside linebackers. We have Jadavian Clowney, DJ Wanham, um, DJ Johnson, and Patrick Jones the second. Okay. And let me see another comment has come up here. Chaos Gaming, what's going on? He said, what's up, CJ? With us only having two safeties on the roster, do you see that as a bigger need than edge? Um, me personally, I would say it's edge followed by safety. And the gap is not that much for me. The gap is not that much. But with the just lackluster numbers that we put up as far as edge rushers getting pressure last season, I think we really do need to do something in the draft to upgrade that spot. I think I think there are some good safeties you can get later on in the draft, but if they use that number one pick for edge, I would not be mad because we got to get somebody in here that can get to the quarterback, okay, that can get some pressure and get the quarterback on the ground and get some sacks. I think our sack leader for last year was Ashawn Robinson. He had like 5.5 sacks. Okay. And we can't have that go on again this year. Cannot have that going. We got to get some pressure from our defensive end. Now, mind you, I do like that they brought Pat Jones in. He has a good run stopping grade as far as PFF numbers go. He did have, I think, was it 7 sacks last season, 6 or 7 sacks last season. So he can get to the quarterback. Again, like I said, I think they have the ability to have more situational rotations as far as down the distance. I think Pat Jones is going to be a big part of that. But yeah, I would have edge and safety right behind it, right behind it. But yeah, edge, because we got to get some pressure on the quarterback, y'all. Got to, got to. I bring this up all the time, and I'm still gonna bring it up. Damn it, uh, oh God, I can't think of his damn. Let me tell you, I'm terrible with names. Terrible with names. Um, Jesus, Tampa Bay's quarterback. I told him, let me tell you, I'm getting old. Anything y'all know what I'm talking about. But he sat there and Baker Mayfield, I'm sorry. He sat there in that one play and went through all 5 of his progression. And I promise you, he had time to take an email, order, lunch, check on his kids, schedule, a doctor's appointment, all that good stuff, and then waited for his last receiver to get open in the end zone and threw for a touchdown. All while everybody in our defensive line was just standing there like, crap, I can't. Yeah, we have to get somebody in here that can come off the edge and get to the quarterback. For me, that's got to be priority number one. Yeah. So, like I said, edge, safety. Let me see. Steven says, I believe if we stay at 8 and Warren is there, that the Panthers will draft him. I wouldn't take him over Graham, Johnson, or Ted, but I think the Panthers will. Glad to see Ian Thomas call, by the way. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to feel a certain type of way if Warren is the pick at number 8. I am. I am not going to be happy with it until he goes out there on the field and shows me something. That man better average, 90 yards a game and end the year with 16 touchdowns or something. I'm sorry. If Warren is the pick, I'm not going to be happy. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all that right now. Will said, I've come to a place of trust. I trust Dan's judgment. I have my opinion, but he has more information. Thank you, Will. Thank you. That's exactly my point. That's why I say I am the armchair GM. I have an opinion just like everybody else has, but these guys are out there and they're doing their stuff. And like I said on the last live, I did like that Dan, was saying that he was going to take the film and get with his stats guys as well and make sure that the film and the stats match, or or you see some disparities in it. You see somebody who, or somebody like goes to the combine, and I say this again, they go to the combine and their stats through the roof, but you look at their film don't match. Okay, you get somebody that goes to the combine and their stats are just slightly below what everybody thought they were going to be, and then you look at the tape and you're like, well, wow, they are just killing it on this tape. you know, th- th- this tape looks a lot different than what they did the combine. So, and like you said, they have the information. So hopefully they'll go out here and put this information to good use and make the right picks for us in this upcoming season. All right. But yeah, but these are our linebackers, outside linebackers on the roster right now. Yeah, Clowney won them. DJ Johnson and Pat Jones the second, who was a free agent signing from the Vikings. All right. All right, now moving on to inside linebackers. Okay, now a lot of depth charts that I've seen so far has Christian Roseboom in as the starter, and excuse me, I don't necessarily think that's the case right now. I don't think you can just go ahead and pencil him in over Trevin Wallace. And y'all let me know if y'all believe different than that. But I don't think that's a lock right now. It may happen. It may happen, but right now I'm still going to go with Jewel and Wallace being the starting linebackers. And then you have Rose Boom and Jacoby Wyndham, who and I hope I said his name Jacoby or Jacor. I hope I'm not messing that up. But he did good last year. The final couple games where he filled in for a Trevin Wallace who had a season-ending, I think it was a shoulder injury, if I'm not mistaken. I possibly could be. But but now, mind you, now this is another position. Okay, this is another position that I do think they need to add something to in the draft. Where they will add this at, I don't know. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if we took a linebacker somewhere in the draft. But right now, Josie Jewell, Trevin Wallace, Christian Roseboom, and Jacoby Wyndham or Jacory. I hope I'm not saying his name wrong. You know what I'm talking about. All right. All right. Cornerbacks. And right now, this is just about what we have on the roster. JC Horn, Mike Jackson, and Shao Smith Wade. Okay. Again, I wouldn't be mad if like I said, there's quite a few picks at number 8, or quite a few ways that the Panthers could go with pick number 8. You see a Will Johnson out of Michigan. I've drafted him at number 8 in a lot of mock drafts. But now we have Horn, Jackson, and Shao Smith Wade. Shao Smith Way, I think he was serviceable, last season, but I think there would have to be, a major, um, jump from his rookie year, to year 2. Mike Jackson, I always joke with Doug. I always joke with Doug, and I say, Mike Jackson's not bad. You just always have to have a safety over the top of him. But I'm glad to see Mike Jackson is back though, and I watched some of his interview that he did, and let me tell you, he seems like he really, really, really enjoys being in Carolina. Like really enjoys it. I think he said he told I think it was JC Horn that if the Panthers were offering, he was coming back. Whatever it was, he was coming back. So it seems like he really enjoys being here. Um and again, I think he not necessarily fell victim, but if you have a garbage front seven, which our defense played like last year, it does make it harder on the back end in the secondary, makes it harder on your corner, makes it harder on your safety. Hopefully that is going to change this season, and maybe that burden won't be so much on our secondary. And but we'll see what comes of it. But yeah, we're definitely thin at the cornerback spot. And I do think, and there's been a lot of drafts where I have double dipped at corner. I've taken 2 corners in the draft. Okay. But there's been a lot of drafts I've taken 2 edge rushers. I've taken 2 defensive tackles. But since we got Bobby Brown, I haven't taken 2 defensive tackles in the draft since. Okay. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, definitely need some help at cornerback because we are thin. All right. Let me see. Steven says Jihad from Alabama had shoulder surgery recently. I stay away from him. I love QB Johnson 8, by the way. Yeah, let me tell you, man, when I say I'm kind of 50-50 on that because don't want the Panthers to draft any more players coming off injuries. But at the same time, every player coming off injury is not a death sentence that when they come to the NFL, they're going to be injury prone. Okay. You get some of the healthiest players in college come to the pros, and all of a sudden they have these string of injuries. You get players that may have had injuries in college, they get to the pros and they have a fairly healthy career. So, I hope that's not the case. But yeah, but I do like Jihad from Alabama, but like I said, Johnson would not be it would not be frowned upon at number 8 for me. Yeah. All right. Poppin, what's going on? Hey, and like Poppin said, please hit that like button. I appreciate y'all. Oh, and speaking of Poppin, y'all make sure y'all go and check out Black Cat Panther podcast with Poppin, Q, Goat, Jalen, oh good Logic, Wally, and everybody over there. Let me tell you one thing that I know I'm going to do when I watch the Black Cat Panther Pop and have me a good laugh. All right. So go check out the boys over there. Appreciate you, Papa. All right. But again, cornerback, then we do need some reinforcement. All right. Safety, another position. These are literally the only 2 safeties on the roster. Trayvon Morig and Damani Richards. Okay. I love the Trayvon Morig signing. Strong safety. You've seen all the clips of how good he is in the run game, and getting down, being in the box, making tackles. I mean, being aggressive. He had a couple interceptions. Let me see. Cheshire Cat. So I like Mason Graham, drafted number 8, but he's not there. Trade back to draft Kenneth Grant. Hey, I'm not mad at that either. I'm not mad at that either. But it's just the question of how far do you trade back and think that he will still be there. Okay. Because the thing is, now we can do mock drafts until we're blue in the face. Okay, no pun intended. But we can do mock drafts till we're blue in the face and we get to the draft, excuse me. And the first couple picks will be like, oh, okay, going the way we thought, going the way we thought. And then that switch hits, and then it's just like doom doom like, you know, so it may be one of those years. It may not be. Mason Graham may be there. Okay. And again, if he's there and they pick him, you know, hey, I'm not mad at it. But yeah, I got you. Appreciate the Cheshire Cat. But the Monty Richardson showed flashes later on in the season. This past season, um, it wasn't enough to what was it enough to convince them to to elevate him into a starting spot this year? Don't know. Okay, more rig. I'm pretty sure he's gonna come in being starter, be the starter. What if they do draft a safety pretty high? What if the pick at number 8 is a safety? When they come in, it's probably gonna be a battle with him and whoever in Richardson, or he may come in and just be safety one, over Richardson or whatever. So we'll see. Rock Jones. Hey, Rock Jones. Rock Jones, how you doing, bud? Hey, how about them Tar Heels, baby? Hey, I'm not gonna get up here and talk a whole lot of junk because just like when Milton Williams didn't get signed by the Panthers, let me tell you, Carolina had the internet mad on Sunday. I mean, upset. They were mad that the Tar Heels got into the NCAA tournament. And as a Tar Heel fan, I will admit I did not think they were going to make it in at all. I will even admit, and I told Doug this, I was like, I'm not even. I said I hope they win, but I would not be surprised if they lost to San Diego State. I mean, that's just kind of how up and down they have been this season. But my God, Carolina went out there and after the first couple minutes, man, hey, they put on the show. They was up by like 42 points at one point in the game. I think they won by like 28 or 29. But yeah, shout out to my some cousin Rock Jones who ought to be giving us a hard time about the real Carolina. Some Let's Go Baby Blue. No, that's Carolina Blue, dog. Say it right. Carolina Blue. Carolina Blue. But all right, but back to the Panthers here. But yeah, safety is another room that is razor thin. I do believe you're going to see a draft, a pick or two, from the Panthers at the safety spot. And like I said, free agency is not over. Free agency is not over. If I'm not mistaken, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. There's still a couple of decent safeties out there. And y'all let me know, has Justin Simmons signed with anybody yet? I know he was on that list, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't really looked back at it in the past couple days. But um, Panthers, like I said, $17.6 million left. I don't know if that's enough to bring in a Justin Simmons or not. But we brought in a whole lot of players with the amount of money that we had that we didn't think we was gonna bring a lot of them in. So we'll see. All right. Making True Money, what's going on? I said, didn't know you was on. I'm going to have the restart. Okay, dog. Appreciate you stopping through, man. Oh, he signed with the Browns. Oh, I guess tell you how out of it I've been. I did not know that. Okay, well, never mind. Justin Simmons, no go. Okay, cool. All right, but again, Trevon Morig, Monty Richardson, all we have at the safety spot as of right now. Okay, and last on the list, our specialist, JJ Jansen, is back for his 72nd season as a Carolina Panther. We signed let me see, Matthew Wright from uh 49ers and Sam Martin. I think his name is Sam Martin, the punter from the Bills. Now mind you, don't know if that necessarily is that means that Eddie P, will not be back. Oh, hold on. He said, I lied. He was supposed to sign with them, but did it. My fault, error on me. Oh, okay. All right, guys. Okay. Well, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and take the Justin Simmons door that I just closed and, open that bad boy back up. So, hey, still an option. Like I like to say, anything is possible. But thank you, Making True Money. Appreciate that. I'm pretty sure that they're going to sign another kicker before training camp. The punter Martin, I ain't gonna lie, I don't really know much about him. I know he's an older punter. I think he's like 35. So we'll see what happens with all of that. Okay. But now I did want to go back to the defensive line. Okay. And specifically the defensive line and the linebackers. More so our defensive line, our outside linebackers, and our inside linebackers. Okay. And I'm going to bring back a segment that we did on our two fans a little bit. Agree or disagree. Okay. Agree or disagree. And the question is right now, with what we have done in free agency, do you think that the Panthers' run defense has improved? Okay. And I know there has not been a down the football play. There has not been a snap in practice. There hasn't been a team meeting. There ain't been a team lunch, breakfast, nothing. Half of these jokers probably ain't called each other on the phone, ain't seen each other, or whatever. It just is all speculation by what we have done so far, as far as our defensive line, our edge rushers, our outside linebackers, and our middle linebackers. Do you think that the Panthers' run defense is better? Agree or disagree. Okay. And for me, on paper, and this is a tough one. This is a tough one. On paper, I think it has. Okay. I think it has. But what I'm not going to do is sit here in front of y'all like I did last year and be like, yeah, this is going to be the best part of this. And this is going to be the best part of that. And this is going to be the best part of this person's going to go out and do this. This person's going to go out and do that. I'm going to be optimistic, but let me tell you folks, I'm going to save a lot of my scrutiny and everything until I see at least a little bit in training camp. Okay. A little bit more in the in preseason games. All right. But then as we all know, when the shit hits the fan, first game of the season. Okay. That's where the rubber meets the road. All right. So we got to get through that first game of the season and see what's what. Okay. But right now, on paper, I think I think I can with confidence say that the Panthers run defense is going to be out of the gutter. Okay. Don't know how far out of the gutter that is going to be. But I do agree that the Panthers defense, as of right now, is better. Okay. But I can't, I can't I can't tell you how much. All right. But we'll see. Let's see. Let me get to a couple comments. Making True Money said, hard to tell, but I'd agree. Okay. Solar Biscuit said they have drastically improved just from the depth alone. Now, you know what? I will agree with that. I will agree with that. What we did last year as far as the offensive line, you see we had depth. When people went down with injury, somebody was able to step in, take their spot, and still play at a serviceable level. Okay. That did not happen on the defensive side of the ball. I guarantee you, we probably signed about 40 or 50 different damn defensive linemen throughout the season because everybody bringing in kept getting hurt, you know. But it was just it was like the guard spot the year before. It was just a rotation of guards. It was new guards every game. This year, we had kind of had that same thing going on. Defensive linemen just in and out, signing players, cutting players. But yeah, as far as a depth standpoint, I do think they have gotten better as far as that. Yep. Steven said 1,000% agree. Cheshire Cat, do you have time to do a mock draft? Yeah, I'm gonna do a mock draft here in a minute. Yep. B Amos, he said, "What's up, my favorite armchair GM?" Hey, appreciate you, B Amos. Doing good, man. Chilling out here in the shed, talking to everybody. Trying to do what I hope to say I do best one day. Will Robinson said, "I was so happy my Tar Heels basketball team won that I was nervous." Hey, me too. Hella nervous. Steven said, "Remember, we've never seen Derek Brown with another stud beside him. The push up the middle will be noticeably different day one." Hey, you know what? I've been saying this for a long time, a long time. Derek Brown does need some help. Kind of like when we had Starla Tulane. Now, mind you, it was a 4-3, but we had K1 Short, Starla Tulane. Starla Tulane was just a block eater. Okay, he'd take double teams, he would hold at the point of contact, and K1 Short would just, he was just getting to the quarterback. Just messing things up in the backfield, causing havoc. Our edge rushers had time to get to the quarterback. One of them situations. And I hope that this can be the type of situation that we have in Carolina now. I hope, Derek Brown posted a tweet on X, and he posted Mr. Brown from Meet the Browns, and the caption was, Meet the Browns, talking about him and Bobby Brown third. So I do hope that that is a meme that we can use, a lot throughout this upcoming season. I hope we can use that meme a lot. Meet the Browns. So, but yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Steven. I agree with you. Okay. And the thing is, and like Bobby Brown stats don't jump off the wall at you. It's not like you're gonna go look at stats. Oh man, he had so many pressures, and he had 7, 8 sacks. Nah, that man was eating up space, holding at the point of attack, hitting in the backfield, causing running backs to go, instead of hitting this hole, they were causing them to go outside. I seen one clip where they were talking about Christian Roseboom. I think this was Panthers Advice that had this clip up. Shout out to Panthers Advice. Um, it was a clip about Christian Roseboom going in and make the tackle. And then after the play, he stopped and he said, "But you know what? Who is this person right here that pushed the center up in the face of the quarterback?" And lo and behold, it was Bobby Brown third. So I'm hoping that they can have that type of that same type of not necessarily dynamic, but I hope they can bring that same thing over here to Carolina. But yeah. Let me see. Game Dreamer 58. How you doing? I would want to add Michael Grant or another nose tackle in the draft to replace Shaw. I'm not going to disagree with you on that one at all. Miss Hunky Door, I say we improved. We have improved by 30% above last year's PFF grades compared to the players and the position. Okay, all right, gotcha. Game Dreamer 58. The problem for us was the personnel and the lack of quality depth to run effective 3-4 scheme. I agree. I agree. Steven said our blitz packages more than likely going to be sick with the threats across the defensive line now. Imagine Walker in Louvu's role. Interesting. Interesting. But you know what though? Evero doesn't. Okay. Now I'll always kind of talk junk about Evero, and it seemed like his lack of pressure, his lack of wanting to bring players on blitz. Now, excuse me, y'all. You see J.C. Horn. He came off of blitz and blitzes a few times and was highly successful. I think every time he blitzed, he sacked the damn quarterback. But I didn't see a lot of that from Evero as far as linebacker blitzes or safety blitzes or things like that. But maybe with the new personnel that's coming in, maybe he'll feel more comfortable sending some more blitzes. Maybe his blitz package will become a little bit more exotic. Because it was, this past year is about as exotic as a number 2 pencil. So yeah. So maybe the people coming in will free that up. But again, we'll see. We'll see. We can speculate all day, but I gotta see it on the field. And like I said, I've learned my lesson. Training camp was fun. Training camp was good. But 2 years in a row, I got myself hyped up at training camp, only to be thoroughly disappointed. Thoroughly. So yeah, we got to see it game 1. You said David Tepper built like not David Tepper built like Cora from Meet the Brand. Oh my God. Yo, QJ, you fool. Oh, God, I gotta stop laughing. I'm gonna completely forget what I was talking about. Oh my goodness. Cheshire Cat. The Carolina Panthers have to find another Browns in free agency or draft. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. But this class is deep at the nose tackle position. I think it's pretty deep across the board on the defensive line. So we'll see. We'll see how all this plays out. But yeah, but again, if oh hold on, Steven says I speculate this defense gets 50 sacks this season, not 60, but definitely 50. Let me see. I wonder how many sacks we got last year. Um, God, let me tell you, we got 50 sacks. Yeah, I'd be happy. I would be happy. I don't think it was close to 50 this year, this past season. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, hey, the stats got to hit the paper, dog. They got to hit the paper. Other than that, wishful thinking. Okay. But again, if y'all missed it, agree or disagree right now. And again, I know there's not been a snap of practice, anything, no team meetings or anything. But agree or disagree. Do you think that the Panthers defensive line, linebackers, and I'm sorry, edge rushers and inside linebackers, do you think they will be better at stopping the run as we sit right now? Okay. All right. So let me get the mock draft ready on the screen here. Okay. All right. Had to hit the mute button. I had to blow my nose real quick. Well, not blow my nose, but yeah. But all right. Now I got one already set up here, and I did this on purpose because, as you can see, Cam Ward, Ahmad Mimbu, Abdul Carter, Ashton Genty, Travis Hunter, Tyler Warren, and Mason Graham all came off the board before us. Hold on, let me see. Not enough sacks is the answer. And okay, thank you, Steven. 32 sacks in 2024. Yeah, let me tell you, we get 50. Now, yeah, I'd want more than 50, but 50 is definitely a damn improvement over 32. Okay. So yeah, you'd have to, yeah. I would, I'll be okay with 50, but I definitely want more. But yeah, that'll be an improvement. All right. But so as we see here, you got Ted McMillan that's available, Malachi Stark, Campbell, James Pierce, Ed Green. Okay. Now, again, a lot of people are screaming and hollering for Ted McMillan to be the our number one pick at number 8. Okay. Um, right now, I would not mind if he is the pick. Okay. I don't mind if he is the pick, but and I know I said I had edge and safety, like right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up edge, and I'm going to bring up I just edge and safety. Okay. Malachi Starks, James Pierce, Mike Green, Donovan. I can't say his last name right now. I got to get the pronunciation. Let me see. Ezeraku. I hope I'm saying that right. I've seen some good tape of him as well. Um, but let me see. Let me see. Miss Hunky Dory said, I see many now having us trade up for Abdul Carter, but I worry because we need a lot. But trading up, man, let me say, hey, I would throw this little tiny TV remote right here through this wall I built and through the other side of the shed if we traded up in this draft. I'm sorry. No, nope, no, 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 no. Stay at number 8 and pick there or trade back. Trade up is absolute blasphemy. No, 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 no. And yes, y'all please, like my lovely wife said, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, and share the stream, please. Okay. And again, real quick, y'all can check me out on all social media at Armchair GMCJ. I appreciate the love and support. And thank you, dear. All right. Miss Hunky Dory said tempting. Steven said, in this situation, I probably take Tet. Cheshire Cat says, say no to Tet. Making true money, trade back. Okay. You know what? I kind of wanted to trade back, and that's why I brought this up because I saw that we had a couple trade partners, and we got the Cowboys and the Dolphins. Um, I highly doubt that the Falcons are going to want to trade with us this high in the draft. And let me see what the Cowboys have right here. We done fleeced the Cowboys so darn much this season as far as trades. They may not want to go with us, but I'm gonna offer up 12 for 8 and 44. And this has a 37% chance to be accepted. Okay, so let's look at the Dolphins. Let me offer up 8 for 13 and 48. Okay, there's a better chance to get accepted. Let me go ahead and offer this trade. And the Dolphins accepted. Okay, and I'm trying to go and get through this, and I'm not going to be quite as long as my last mock draft was. I'm sorry if y'all see me looking this way. My screen is over here, and when I'm looking over here, it looks like I'm looking off the screen, but I'm actually looking at this. All right. So we have Jahadi Barron, cornerback from Texas, Malachi Starks, James Pierce, Will Johnson, Luther Burden, Donovan Ezraku. I hope I'm saying that right. Okay. But like I said, I'm going to go with James Pierce here. Okay. We need that pass rusher. We need that edge. We need somebody to get pressure on the quarterback. Okay. All right. And so now this was important for me because I feel like on a lot of these drafts that I do we don't pick until 57. So there's a lot of players that come off the board between 8 and 57. So the Panthers can trade back and get a pick, in the second round, somewhere between the start of second round and 57, preferably somewhere in the 40s. If they can get somebody out of a pick in like the late 30s, ooh, doubt it, but like I always say, you never know. Okay. Now, I said edge, safety. So we're going to go for a safety here. Okay. Now we got Xavier Watts, Sebastian Castro, Kevin Winston Jr., Lathan Ransom, Andrew Makuba. Okay. And we pull up the stats on Xavier Watts here. Um, Watts is the best ball hawking safety in the class, thanks to his intelligence and ability to break on the football. That would have him drafted somewhere on day 2, even with his tackling woes. Okay, we look at the stats. 89.5 coverage grade, 79.5 run defense grade, forced incompletion rate 15.6, missed tackle rate and average depth of run tackle. Not where you necessarily want them to be, but um possibly improve on that. All right. And if you look next, you have Sebastian Castro. Okay. He played 12 games, 63.7% coverage rate, 76.2 run defense grade. Forced incompletion doesn't look that good. Missed tackle rate, average depth of run tackle, not the best either. So I'm gonna go with Xavier Watts right here. All right. Now we're still in the second round, and we have our original. Well, not our original 57th pick. Our original pick would be somewhere in the 30s that Chicago has. But this is the pick that we traded um, with LA to get last season, last draft. Okay. So now we're at 57. Okay. And what I want to look at right here, I'm going to look at the wide receivers. Okay. Let's see. What do we pick again? We pick again at 74. All right. Like I said, I don't know exactly what the Panthers plan is at wide receiver, but you got Eric let me see. I'm see Elick. A a Maynard. Y'all know I'm bad with names. We have him. We have Xavier Strepo from Miami. Let's see, 5'10", 198. I'm not. Jalen Noel, wide receiver, 5'10", 200. Okay, let me see what y'all saying here. Let me see. Oh, Game Dreamer told me take Stark at number 8, I think. Here's a good pickup. There's Watts. I'll take a safety here. Yes, yep. Strepo or Royal. Okay. I was looking at I heard about Jalen Royal. Okay. Let me see. 6', 205. Says Royals may lack the difference making NFL athleticism, but he's a strong possession receiver who can line up anywhere with plus after the catch ability. Okay. After the catch ability. If y'all remember what Dave Canales said, they were talking about bringing in playmakers. Somebody, okay, if you catch the ball 5 yards, maybe you could take it 50 yards for a touchdown or 60 yards for a big game or something like that. All right. So Steven, for you, my friend, now mind you that he got him ranked at 84. 87. Um, oh, QJ said the wide receiver from Stanford is the wide receiver that led up Travis Hunter. Okay. Got you. Okay. You know what? Let me see. Let me go back here and so we got an edge and we got a safety. Okay. Um, now I see QJ said Stanford wide receiver is our guy. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go back and look at the cornerback. Okay. Darian Porter. Darian Porter out of Iowa State. Um, he says PNP is high on Royals too. Yes, I saw their mock draft. Shout out to Dave Rashad over at PNP too. Great channel. Look, I hope to be like them one day. But yeah, I saw their mock draft the other day as well too. But Darian Porter is another name that I like here. Saw him at, I think, was he at the combine? It was a combine or Senior Bowl? One of the two that I saw. Um, but we are thin at cornerback as well. So I'm going to take Darian Porter here and see where Royals is at once we get down to pick 74, which we are at now. Okay. He said Jalen Royals, 6', 205. And I like this line right here. Receiver who can line up anywhere with plus after the catch ability. Okay. Steve said, "You go your own lane, my G, and I think you do well. Salute." Oh well, yeah, no, I got you, I got you. But hey, let me tell you one thing I like to do. I like to get y'all involved in this, and like I said, we doing mock drafts, and uh, these are just our opinions. Okay, every mock draft I've done for the past few years, I don't think the Panthers have ever taken a player that I have chose on the damn mock draft. But yeah, but I appreciate y'all input and yeah, but yeah, I got you though. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Porter good for special teams too. Got you. Okay. All right. So Royals here, we got Savion Williams, Tez Johnson, Isaiah Bond. Hmm. 5'11", 180. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and get Jalen Royals here. Okay. And like I said, I think that a receiver will be addressed in the draft. I just don't think it would be addressed the way a lot of people want it to. But, again, we'll see. Okay. We have edge, safety, cornerback, and wide receiver. Now we are at pick let me scroll down. We are at pick 111. So we have pick 111 and we have pick 114. Okay. Um, Let me see here. Okay. Tight end room was another room that was very thin. Okay. Now you have Harold Fanning Jr., tight end out of Bowling Green. Graded off the charts here, 95.9. Receiving grade, 96.4. Yards per route run, 3.77. Drop rate, 3.3. Contested catch rate, 54.5. Run block grade, 75.2. Okay. And look at some of the numbers he put up. I mean, and I know he plays in the what conference is this? Is this the MAC? I forgot what conference this was. But I mean, hell, look at the numbers he put up against Penn State and Texas A&M. Big Ten and SEC teams. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go on the limb here, and I'm going to take a tight end. So I'm going to get Harold Fanning Jr. right here. Okay, now we're back at 114. Okay, and again, we have gone tight end, wide receiver, cornerback, safety, and edge rusher. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go and look at what we have at linebacker. Okay. And I swear, I keep seeing Barrett Carter's name on here, and I have mixed opinions about Barrett Carter because and like I said, I know this is PFF. Okay, take PFF for a grain of salt. All right, but it doesn't really jump out to me right here. Got a good run defense grade, pass rush grade 67, but look at that coverage grade 47.7. 47.7. That, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Yeah, that turns me all the way off right there. Okay, all the way. All right. So what I'm going to do here, you got Jack Kaiser from Notre Dame. Now, mind you, his coverage grade is better. I would like it to be a little better than he's kind of middle of the road here as far as PFF goes. But run defense, 86.8, pass rush, 77. Look at stats, 6'2", 231. Okay. So I'm gonna take Jack Kaiser. Okay. All right. Now, again, so we have a linebacker, tight end, wide receiver, cornerback, safety, and the edge rusher. What I want to do now, I want to see if there are any more decent edge rushers out here. And I've heard a little bit about Tyler Batty from BYU. Okay, 6'5", 275. All right. 75 pass rush grade, 74.4 run defense grade, pass rush win rate, 13.5%. Okay, true pass set rush grade 76.2. Okay. So him, you got Tyler Barron, RJ Oben, Jai Joyner, Tyrion Ingram, Dawkins, and Fadil Diggs. Now, Fadil Diggs, there might be something. I think somebody made a comment about him. Oh, game driven 50. I would try to get Fadil Diggs in round 4 or 5 for Syracuse. Yes, 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 yes. I'm gonna circle back and see what we can do about Fadil Diggs. Another spot I wanted to look at was offensive line and offensive tackle. Okay. And I'm trying to remember the tackle that Ricky Raines was talking about last Thursday when we were on What's Up Doug show. I think it's goodness. Let me see. Was it John Williams out of Cincinnati? Doug, if you were in the chat, man, let me know. I can't remember who that was. But Logan Brown out of Kansas, I think would be a good pick. 6'6", 315. Run block grade 82. Pass 78. Zone grade 85. Gap 71. True pass set. Pass block grade 74.8. And the only reason I say, about picking a tackle here, what if? Okay, what if? And that was another thing that we did on Two Fan. We did like what if Wednesdays. Might bring that back every now and then too. But you know, what if there's a chance that this may be Taylor Moton's last year with Carolina? Okay, I don't want it to. I don't want it to. But like I always say, you never know. So what if this is his last year? You know, now would probably be a good time, to go ahead and bring in a young tackle that might can sit a year and learn from Taylor Moton. Okay. And then the Panthers have a little bit of flexibility, next year. Because if you get him now, you get him his rookie deal. Say he sits this year, he comes out next year and plays strong. Hey, might be a win-win. All right. Let me go back through some picks here. Dig it. What's going on? He said, don't go with a Clemson player. It's the curse. Steven said, defensive line depth or offensive line depth. I got you. Miss Unky Dory said, tight end and linebacker, very good picks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Joseph McMillan said, damn, see, that's an A+ draft. Well, PFF's not going to tell me. They're going to tell me I'm being the bottom 37% of Panthers draft. But thank you. I greatly appreciate that. Making True Money says, I love the Darian Porter pick. Thank you, thank you, thank you. QJ said, Batty is strong as shit. He destroyed Colorado. That boy, country strong. Dude look like he been lifting bells of hate his whole life. Oh, man, I love that reference. Country strong, boy. That's what I'm talking about. Diggett said Reigns was hogging the chat that night, LOL. Hey, I'm not going to lie to you. It was funny because Ricky said he said, man, and I'm not trying to talk y'all out of every pick. I'm sitting there like, bro, you keep right on talking, dog. I'm learning. I am learning here because as this process goes on, I haven't been sitting around watching tape on everybody, and I know that's the thing that Ricky does. Him and Edgar have the draft podcast that they do as well. So he was talking. So I'm sitting there, I'm listening, I'm valuing his opinions. I was just like, hey man, hey preach. I'm sitting here talking. I'm sitting here listening. But yeah. So but he was okay, Dig. He was okay. Chair shots. Jack Nelson, I heard was good. Okay, got you. All right, but let me see. Where are we at? We are. Let me see. Go back to see what's what. Maybe I can get. You know what? Let's go ahead and pick up Tyler Batty right here. We're gonna swing back around and see if we can still get my man Logan. Not in offensive tackle. Logan Brown. Okay. All right. Take Logan Brown tackle out of Kansas. All right. Now, all right. So one thing that we didn't pick up so far was an interior defensive lineman. Okay. And like I said, in mock drafts I've done before, I probably would have had two of them by now. But that was before we signed Bobby Brown the third. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna slide over to defensive interior. We got Vernon Broughton from Texas, Tonka Hemingway. I actually met him down at the Shrine game, did a little reel on him as well. Nice dude. Him, CJ West, what's a man name from Maryland? Jordan Phillips, all great people, and took the time before the game and after the game, to talk to me. So thank you to y'all. Shout out to all of you, and I wish y'all much success in your career. Hopefully, one of y'all will be a Carolina Panther. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at some of these guys. So we got Vernon Broughton, 6'4", 305. That Broughton needs to refine his hand placement and technique to become a more effective one-on-one winner at the next level. However, in his current form, his length and strength provide valuable versatility as a two-gapping defensive lineman, with his best fit likely coming as a 3-4 defensive end. Okay. All right. Tonka Hemingway. Don't have his summary up there yet, but he's 6'3", 288. Look at his stats. 73.5 pass rush grade, 74.9 true pass rush grade, pass rush win rate, 10.6, run stop rate, 3.5. Not where you want it to be. Run defense grade, a little down. Okay. But, I see Steven said Tonka solid. Mr. Huggy Dory says Tonka. Corey Johnson said you can see everyone they met with so far. Okay, gotcha. Now I know Tonka said that he did meet with the Panthers at the Shrine Bowl. Him, CJ West, and Jordan Phillips all said they met with the Panthers at the Shrine Bowl. But yeah, we appreciate you, Corey. Let me see. You know what? Yo, Tim Smith from Alabama here, 6'4", 314. Smith is a well-built defensive lineman for the NFL, but likely lacks the explosiveness to be more than a depth player with experience in many roles on the line. Okay. All right. Cool. Let me see. And it's crazy because Vernon is ranked 76 here. Okay. And I see Miss Hunky Dory said Tonka can add weight. I got you. Okay. But with this one here, I'm gonna go with Vernon here. Go with Vernon. Okay. Now we are at pick 230. This is our last pick. So to sum it up, so far we have taken edge rusher James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee, safety Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, cornerback Darian Porter from Iowa State, wide receiver Jalen Royals from Utah State, tight end Harold Fanning Jr. from Bowling Green, linebacker Jack Kaiser from Notre Dame, edge rusher Tyler Batty from BYU, tackle Logan Brown from Kansas, and defensive lineman Vernon Broughton from Texas. All right, and let me see. QJ says, "How about my Blue Devil CJ, old fashioned grandpa beat that?" Hey, it's so funny because now mind you, now that last one, me and one of my best friends is a Duke fan, and we argue at each other over text for about 2 hours straight. And I love him to death, but if I can say one thing to get him going, I will keep saying it. I'll keep saying it. I will keep saying it. And I do believe this. Duke got lucky that last game against Carolina. Okay, they got lucky. They got lucky because you had Withers that decided that he wanted to try and get a full second jump start on the daggone rebound, and nobody moved but him. Okay. And then the play before that, not sorry, the free throw before that, and I'm not gonna say this is part of the luck at all, but they were just talking about my man's free throw percentage, and I put my head down And I was like, damn it, why did they bring up this man's free throw percentage? He's about to miss this one. And he missed the first one. And then Withers missed he got the lane violation, and then he made the second one, but it didn't count. But yeah, but I give Duke their due credit. You know, I hate them just like I hate going to the doctor, but you know, it's what it is. But you know, Tar Heels all day. All right. So let's get back to the draft. I did see some Game Dreamers said kicker. Okay. Corey Johnson said Milrow ran a 4.37 today. Ooh, good. Lord have mercy, that's fast. Milrow going to be a Taysom Hill type. Dude is not NFL QB. Gotcha. Mr. Unky said 4.37. Wow. Yeah, that's fast. That is fast. But you know, hey, I Taysom Hill type, you know, ain't bad. Let me tell you, New Orleans has got a lot of production, you know, out of Taysom Hill, playing as a straight up quarterback, hell, wide receiver, tight end, running back. I remember not this past year, but the year before, the game here against the Saints, it was like you saw him line up in the backfield and you knew he was getting the ball, and they still couldn't stop him. Taysom Hill, 8-hour lunch that day. But yeah, but you know, I digress. All right. Now, so we're down to our last pick, and I think we did a pretty decent job here. We've addressed defensive line. We doubled down on edge rushers. We got a safety, a cornerback. We dipped on the offensive side of the ball, wide receiver, and a tight end, and a tackle. Okay. Now let me look at you know, and this is one here. Malachi Moore, the safety out of Alabama. Okay, always intrigues me because you know, according to PFF, he's got a good stat line here. Good grade. Coverage grade 89.4, run defense 75.7, forced incompletion rate 23.3, missed tackle 6.8, average depth of run tackle 10.9. Okay, you know, on the Alabama squad, and I you know, and y'all let me know why he's always at the bottom of these drafts. Okay. Now I know somebody did say kicker. So let me look at special teams. Ryan Fitzgerald, Hayden Davis, Ben Sauls, Andrew Beauregard. All right. Let me get to some comments here. Let me see. QJ said Milrow got running from the cop speed. Milrow. Lord have mercy. Steven said he could be lethal on gadget plays like flea flickers and such. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Will said we need to hit on a Puka Nakua type of draft pick value. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I was talking to Tony about that earlier, and I was like, you know, now mind you, it seems like everybody's like, oh, we got to go wide receiver at number 8. Got to go wide receiver at number 8. You know, maybe we can find out Puka Nakua in this draft. I want to say Puka. What was he? Was Puka a 4th-round pick or a 5th-round pick or a 3rd-round pick? I forget. But you know, he wasn't the first. He wasn't the second. Shoot, look at Jalen Coker. Look at Jalen Coker and Steven. It's crazy. I was just about to say that, and the comment popped up. Said we did with Coker. Just watch him develop. Exactly. Exactly. I think sky's the limit for Jalen Coker. Okay. But yeah. But now I usually always draft Andrew Beauregard from Miami. And I think I'm going I think I'm going to keep suit here. And you know, now mind you, we got an extra pick in this draft because we traded back. Okay. Now mind you, we had our 9 picks. I probably wouldn't do this, but I'm gonna go ahead and take them. All right, so that is our draft, and they're analyzing, and let's see what they give us. Okay. Now they said I drafted Darian Porter, and hey, just like you said, QJ, the PFF would have drafted Alec A Maynor. I'm just gonna say it like that. I don't know how to pronounce that. But for James Pierce, they gave us an A. Xavier Watts an A. Darian Porter a B plus. Jalen Rose a B minus. Harold Fanning Jr. B plus. Jack Kaiser a C. Tyler Beatty a B plus. Logan Brown a D. Vernon Broughton a B, and Andres Beauregard a C. So hey, look, I told you I was close. Bottom 35 of Panthers draft. I did one yesterday, y'all. I finally got into the top percentage of Panthers drafts. I think I got into the top 17% of Panthers draft. That's the first time that's happened. I got that draft saved somewhere on my computer. But yeah, I don't think this was that bad. I think this is a pretty decent draft. And we traded back to number 13 with Miami and picked up number 48 where we drafted Xavier Watts, and then everything else was, um, as we already had. And I don't know if y'all know, but there was a lot of confusion going around as well. When the NFL, when the league handed out the compensatory picks or whatever. Of course, the Panthers didn't get none this year, won't get any next year. But for some reason, they decided that the Bears had our pick number 114 and started all this confusion on Twitter and the internet and stuff. But, the Panthers have come out in a statement and said that that is our pick. And, we have number 114. So we still have all 9 of our picks. All right. Let me see. Making sure he was a 5th round pick. Thank you. Okay. Puka Nakua. Gotcha. QJ said Jimmy Horn Jr. my sleeper of this draft. I can see that. I can see that. I'd rather go with Warren at 8 over a wide receiver. You know what? You're gonna go there by yourself, dig it. Sorry, can't do it. Can't do it. Look, can't do it, won't do it. Making True Money agrees with QJ. Big Walk, what's going on? It's true, Steven. We need some more juice in that room, though. I got you. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Stunky Dora. Puka was a 5th round pick, number 177. Steven says Coker do need a damn arm sleeve or eye black or something. He's the most standard dress player through zero swag. So I guess it's the Holy Spirit in him. Holy Cross. Hey, look, man, ain't nothing wrong with bringing a little Holy Spirit to the football field. I ain't mad at him. Yeah, hopefully we get pick Billy Blanks, aka Bro. At least it would justify him for being here for 3 years. He called that man Billy Blanks. Oh my goodness, y'all. Oh my goodness. Okay, y'all. Appreciate that, QJ. But like I said, yeah, quick draft, y'all. I think it was a pretty decent draft. We kind of double dipped at edge rusher, but we picked up somebody on each level of the defense: edge, linebacker, safety, cornerback. Took a wide receiver and a tight end. And we also got another. I'm sorry, and a tackle on offense, and then we drafted a kicker at number 230. Okay, but again, and if y'all are just joining me and you didn't see earlier, I asked an agree or disagree question about our defensive line, linebackers, and our edge rushers. If right now, on paper as they stand, has this run defense for the Carolina Panthers improved? Agree or disagree? And I added to that the fact that there has not been a snap of practice, no kind of anything yet, no team meetings, no nothing. But just by what we've brought to the team so far, and by we, I mean them, the Carolina Panthers, what they have brought to the team so far, do you think that the run defense has improved from last year? Okay. So if y'all missed that, go back and watch that. Leave me a comment and let me know. Okay. And I appreciate everybody watching. Between X and YouTube, I got 35 on YouTube, 67 on X. I thank y'all for all the love and support. Before you get up out of here, if you haven't, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me a follow on X. Again, on my YouTube channel, I'm still trying to get to my first goal of 500 subscribers, and I thank everybody that has done that so far. I appreciate all the love and support. And again, you can check me out on all social media at Armchair GMCJ. Okay. And as Diggett said, hit the like button. Okay, hit the like button. And he followed that up with button. All right, yeah, hit that like button. But again, we took a look at the Panthers roster post free agency. And when I say post free agency is not done, but the initial wave and all of the excitement and people going back and forth, freaking out, liking picks, disliking picks, this and that, that is pretty much done for the most part. Things have slowed down, tremendously. So it'll be a pickup here, a pickup there. And but just wanted to give y'all a look at the Panthers roster, just the starters and the backups right now, after this first wave of free agency. If we have any more significant additions to the roster, I will update this and bring it back again. Also, if you missed the first part of it, the Panthers cap space is down to $17.6 million. Everybody that has been picked up in free agency has been added to it except for David Moore. David Moore is the only one. Um, so I don't know what that's going to look like as far as the Panthers being able to go out and sign any more people. But between Morig and I forgot who else it was that was down there with him. We were at like 24 something yesterday. So between the two of them, that 7 million that came off the board, now plus whatever David Moore signs. I don't know if he's going to sign for a league minimum or what, but we'll see. We'll see. But a few more comments before we get out of here. Megan Tremaine said, "All right, everyone, y'all be safe. You too, man. Appreciate you." Um, Steven Bott said, "CJ, are you going to go live during the draft at all?" Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes. Trust and believe. Oh, yes. I will be live, live, live. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will be live. And I hope y'all come and join me, and I greatly appreciate you. He said, "I took PTO for the days of the draft." Hey, let me tell you. When the training camp schedule came out last year, I called my boss so quick, and I was no, I emailed him, and I was like, I need these 2 days, this day. The only things I didn't go to was the welcome back event and Fan Fest. I went to in one day, one training camp day I missed. I missed like a Monday or something. But yeah, man, I feel you. That was me last year during training camp. I went to everything, but it's in Charlotte. It's in Charlotte. I got in my car and went down Graham Street and was right there in shoot 12 minutes. So that was lovely. Instead of that hour and a half drive down to Spartanburg. But I am glad that I did get to experience Spartanburg once before they decided to move it back up here. But yeah. Diggy said, "Cut Tuttle." Hey, I said it too, but he's still here. He's still here. Let's hope they move him around and do something else with him, and hopefully he can make a bigger impact this season. All right. I just wanna, I don't want to just be checking Twitter and X. I got you. I got you. Check. I can't say me too. Let me see. Steven says, "All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace and love to everyone." Yes. All right, thank you, Steven. And thank you for everybody else that has joined. I greatly appreciate you. Okay. Again, I may go live on Saturday, and we will probably do another mock draft. And between now and then, think up some more questions, and see what the Panthers are going to do between now, and the draft. Okay. But as always, Panther Nation, I am going to leave y'all with three things. Number one, y'all be good. Number two, y'all be safe. And number three, as always, Panther Nation, keep pounding, man. I'll see you.